Alright, I think we should be back now. After a brief break, we are waiting for the players to load into the lobbies and just get lined up, form a proper orderly queue, and we should be heading to game very soon. Once again, guys, I am your colorcaster, Daryl Hungry Lim, and alongside me is Gerard, the escape artist Peters. I mean, after a very, let's not mince words, right? One-sided game one. What are you looking forward to this second game? Do you want it to be more competitive, or do you like seeing the storms? Like, are you a man of the storm?
I want to see it be more competitive. I think it will be.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, we've done our research, and in terms of the skill levels, more similar.
Yeah,
this one.
I would hesitate to say that in terms of skill difference, it shouldn't be as big as game one, but I am a man that likes to see the draft, likes to see teams put the effort in research and know what the meta is. So if I don't see Cassio ban, I don't see Lucian ban, and I don't see Irelia ban or Aatrox for the meta, these four, right? If I don't see them banned, I will feel a bit upset.
Okay, let's see how upset you feel from this one.
Kled being banned out is interesting. It might be just a target ban against the top laner on the red team. And for your information, guys, the red team is close behind Esports, and the blue team... Oh, am I right? Let me think.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah. And the blue team is Team Toxic, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty toxic, I guess.
Let's hope not. Fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they have accounts that are like 300 over levels, right?
Yeah,
so if you're toxic, there's... you'll probably be banned at like 180 or 160 at best,
I mean, yeah, each team has like someone with like 320, 330 levels. It's like...
Exactly.
I've never even seen that, honestly.
Yeah, so... Toxic, probably just in name, not in game. Looking at the bans, we see Kled, Kai'Sa for blue, Kha'Zix and Urgot for red. So I don't see any Lucia, I don't see any Cassio.
You might be upset.
Yeah, I'm slightly upset, guys, because just looking at the... Okay, so Aatrox at least. 1 out of 4. Ban the Lucian, ban the Cassio. 50%, I'm okay, guys, I'll give a pass if it's 50% at least.
No. Oh,
nope. Okay. We're only hitting 25% today.
It's okay.
I'm upset because just looking at the trends in terms of the meta globally, LCK, LPL, these are champions that have extremely high effective rates when it comes to doing what they do best. When they really excel in their particular roles. So Aatrox, one, like we talked about, very safe, strong laner, able to dominate if given the window. Cassio, we saw her being played in the bot lane position, not AD carry, but like bot lane, right?
Yep.
Very oppressive to lane against, especially when she hits the first item spike. Their team fighting was so effective, right?
Yeah, it was just a complete smash after that point, honestly. I mean, the bot lane was explosive at the start, but really once Cassiopeia gets that hold, it's pretty much in her favor. I mean, we see Galio, the first pickup. There were some changes, right?
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, when we were doing the qualifiers for the Singaporean side, we're talking about how Galio now saw a shift in numbers in terms of how the damage has been reorganized. So Galio's damage now scales with max HP per AP. Max HP percent per AP. So the more AP you have, the more percentage HP damage you do, essentially, per tick. So it's something like, I think, 8% initial, and then additional like 2% per 100 AP you have. So it's very good at shredding tanks, but it's also very good at shredding squishies because of the base damages alone. So Galio is someone that excels in wave clearing and impacting the map through the ultimate. But you really have to draft around that. You really need a composition that enables that. You need Camille, you need someone like a Rakan, which unfortunately has been picked away. You need someone like a Ornn even, to facilitate these team fight starting conditions. I'll put it that way.
I mean, so far we see Killing Morgana on that side, and over on the side of close behind Esports, right? Yeah. We see the Lovers bot lane as well as LeBlanc.
I actually don't like LeBlanc into Galio because it's quite a tough matchup for the LeBlanc player. When your trade pattern normally is QW for it to proc the mark, right? It's very telegraphed because when you walk up to Q and follow up with the distortion, the Galio doesn't even have to charge his taunt. He can instant cast it and bait you back in after the distortion is jumped back to. So essentially what you're doing is forcing her to re-engage you every time she wants to go for a short trade pattern, and you can force these longer skirmishes in mid lane, which is always in Galio's favor, because after you land the taunt, it's a knock-up into the Winds of War. Very, very tough for the LeBlanc player to play into. I'm going to expect this matchup to go in favor of the Galio.
That's really well thought out. We'll see if it does end up in favor of Galio. We'll see if your predictions do come true. We've seen quite a lot of top lane bans now, actually. And Jarvan is the last ban for team close behind.
The Sion ban is interesting. Normally teams pick up Sion as a reply to Urgot or just like an open pick in general. So the focus on top lane in general is something I think that is very interesting. We don't see all too much in the global meta because of how reliable top lane tanks are. But like we were saying, the Ornn being banned out is curious. I would have figured they would have taken it for themselves, but just wanting to deny the pool of top laners. Effectively, there are 7 top laners being banned out this game?
Yeah, let's see. Yep, looks like it's about 7, yeah. Ooh, Jax being picked up. I mean, we saw Jax in the last game, wasn't really effective. We'll see if Jax is able to scale up on this one.
Of course, this is a Jax pick that can be flexed, and because they're red side, they have last pick, right?
Yep.
So they can always play the Jax in the jungle, and if it's a favorable matchup, they can put it in the top lane and go for something like a Lee Sin or Xin Zhao to be more aggressive in the jungle. The answer to Jax generally, I quite like Jace. Jace bullies Jax out pretty well, but it doesn't facilitate this composition all too much. Shen is someone that deals with this pretty well as well, because you have that zone of dodge, essentially, when you call your sword back to you. So your trades are very dependent on getting that zoning dodge area out.
We'll see if they do end up sending Jax to jungle, or if Jax is top laner. Just last pick.
They need to supplement this composition with a bit of AD damage in the jungle. So I would like to see Kha'Zix. No, it's been banned. I would like to see Xin Zhao. Okay, we're going to jump back into the lobby. Maybe someone failed to pick. But yeah, I would like to see, as I was saying, team supplemented with a bit more AD in the jungle, because their composition, looking at Shen top, doesn't do damage. Galio mid, heavy AP damage, and Caitlyn, which as a crit building ADC, comes online very late.
I mean, Xin Zhao, I believe, was available as well as
Lee Sin.
Yeah, Lee Sin, yeah.
And right now, the, I guess, favorite jungle champions in terms of being aggressive is Camille, which was open. Would complement the composition very well. Lee Sin, which doesn't really work too well with the composition, but good early aggression and damage. And the Xin Zhao as well, which I think works with the composition. So 2 out of 3, pick your poison. The Xin Zhao or the Camille will be fine.
Yeah, really some synergy with the Galio ultimate, right? Being able to jump in, hero's entrance, deal a ton of damage.
Yeah, because normally when you play the Xin Zhao, right, it's usually a one-way trip when you go in for fights. Like you audacious charge in, like, okay, you pop your out. If I die, I die. You know? But because you have the heroic entrance behind you, it forces the enemy team to either lose the member that you've isolated, or take a very disadvantageous fight by collapsing onto you. And because he has that zoning sort of area of defense from his ultimate, it actually reduces a lot of damage coming in. It complements very well.
Exactly, really helps to protect that Xin Zhao or the Camille who jumps straight in, dives straight into the fight.
And against the Zyra Khan, sure, there are some uphill tasks in getting to the backline. Camille does it well, Xin Zhao not so much. But the onus now on the red team, right, if you look at the Camille, or not, look at the Zyra Khan, is to just kite backwards. Because they have the composition to do so, they don't really have to fight like by front loading all their damage. All they have to do is just move backwards slowly, disengage, because they do have the LeBlanc to kind of use the chains to kite back, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty interesting compositions from both sides, right? We've got really strong stuff like Galio, and then we've got some other stuff that we don't really see.
The Jax is, I guess, more interesting, because like up till the end of last year, we didn't see a Jax all too much. He saw a small spike in solo queue, but not really competitive, in fact. And there's like this meme about how, SKT's jungler, I think it was Tao, who had like basically 0 damage on the Jax. He had something like 800 damage the whole game as a jungle Jax, and people like memeing, like making fun of that because jungle Jax is very dependent on whether you can hit the lanes well. Sure, you can farm up the late game stage, but you need to have an immediate impact. The moment you hit level 2, you can cheese a gank. The moment you hit level 6, you should be looking to force something with that power spike in terms of skill ultimates achieved.
Yeah, that's right. We're just settling some stuff on our side.
Yeah.
We'll be getting back into Champions Select soon.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, I'm receiving word. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but one of our players had a small issue with the Champ Select, so technical issues are generally, to be expected, like we say.
Yeah, community events. It's fine.
Even in the big scale, like talk about the tier 1 competition of this region being like GPL. We still experience technical issues from time to time, right? It's just the nature of these remote competitions where teams are playing online as opposed to like live on a tournament server. It is something we come to expect. We roll with the punches. It's not too bad nowadays. We had like games way back in the early seasons of GPL where everything was played remote, right? There was a team that had was notoriously famous for having 1 hour pauses because the internet would just be really, really bad. Like,
yikes.
They would have 60 to 80 ping, which is okay for them, and then you would spike to like 300, then they'll just like pause. Okay, guys, we need to wait for our ping to go down. Like, okay, we'll just wait here then. For like an hour, our ping is not going down. How do we forfeit or just play on? I guess we play on then. Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, honestly, League of Legends has come a long way. I mean, if you think back, to season 2 for me was the first Worlds I watched. I think it was the first Worlds that a lot of people watched, and there were those delays. There were like 4 hours of just sitting down and listening to Silver Scrapes.
Yeah, good old Silver Scrapes.
Yeah.
The classic CLG EU. Long games, long pause. You gotta love it, man.
Exactly. I mean, from there, really, we've come a long way. I've been keeping up. I've been watching stuff, and there's been a lot less on the pausing in general.
Yeah. I like that we've moved towards a more localized LAN style of play as opposed to online qualifiers way back. Like, if you think about how League has evolved, early in the day there were like no such thing as like Riot Leagues, right? It was always like small tournaments. Like, you remember they're like IGN, there was like IEM as well. So like these small, I wouldn't say small, but more of like third party events. And then to play in, you need to go through like the online qualifiers, and sometimes like you DC or like you have lag, and oops, I guess you're not playing the tournament after all,
Blame the lag.
So yeah, I mean, those are things that I'm happy to see just be eliminated. Like, the less of that, the better,
Yeah. I mean, ultimately the pauses will still happen no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Like, even at Worlds, we saw pauses, and that was because of like really silly technical stuff, like Sven Skaren from C9 just like spilling his water on the keyboard, right? Like 3 or 4 times, so like the casters would just give this guy a sippy cup or something, just spilling his water everywhere.
My goodness, I remember that. I was just sitting there like, man.
And then they had like the instant replay when it happened. So it's like, oh man.
Exactly.
So these things happen, I appreciate guys, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for sticking around and working through this with us. Of course, we're excited to bring you just the Thailand qualifiers for today and tomorrow. Just to remind you, it's 3 matches today, so we are in the process of getting the second one up and running. Tomorrow it will be the same time, 8 a.m. GMT plus 8, all the way until the last match. So, do the math, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to whenever.
10 to whenever, indeed. I mean, you feeling hungry?
Are you feeling hungry?
Are you hungry?
I am. I was telling Sean when I was doing this PUBG cast, the reason why my name is Hungry, right? It's this silly inside joke I have with my friend. It's because whenever people ask me like, "Oh,
hungry for success.
Are you hungry?" Yeah, I'm like, I'm hungry for success, and it's never failed to get me like a punch in the arm or just like massive eye rolls from my friends because they know it's coming, right? And you can't avoid it.
I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
For food now.
You could always eat, man. I just gotta pay due credit and just shout out to our lovely hosts here.
Yeah.
They're having us, the FSL staff doing this in the studio and getting us the water and the food that we need. We're not being ill-treated at all, guys. This is amazing hospitality that they're showing us, and
really happy over here.
hopefully things are getting resolved real quick. We are in the lobby so we can see what's going on.
Yeah.
But like half of this is in Thai, so because Gerard can't speak and read Thai apparently.
I mean, we could always use Google Translate.
We could always use.
We could always get like a terribly like off, terrible off translation, and let's see.
When I was inclined just now, we were trying to figure out like how to turn on the summoner names, like the players' names, right? And because the whole option screen was in Thai, we just had to like. Our lovely observer thankfully knew which one to pick out. But I was trying to like use my phone Google Translate and like see if I could get the words right.
I mean, what if like for your phone Google Translate, it's like enable summoner name, it becomes like and in
I
Google
know where
Translate,
this is going.
It's like player's surname activation or something. I don't know.
It's translations are tricky. I've seen a lot of bad translations happen.
Indeed.
Especially when I was in Shanghai. Like I remember going to like a restaurant and like the names of the food literally just like they copy paste into Google Translate. It's so bad. Like I tried to order in Chinese even though my Chinese is quite miserable because I don't want to say the names in English. I sound so silly saying those things. Either that or just point, right? And it's like 我要这个, that's all.
Yeah, that's the easiest one for me also because I don't speak Chinese, so I'm just like Tati's like, boy, what do you want? I'm just like
just point, right?
Yeah, and then Tati's like, okay. And I'm like, yep.
See, man, you gotta learn at least a bit of Chinese to order. Otherwise, 这个 is enough. We have hand gestures. Serious points.
Yes, a lot of pointing, and we're back into Champion Select now. So we should see the same stuff. If I'm not wrong, we just had like one last pick, was it?
Yeah, there was one last pick left on the Toxic Girls side, I believe. They were trying to sort out how the pick ban order was gonna go. They were curious if they followed the same rules or like if they just could draft in order of what they did previously. So I think we got that all sorted out. They decided that as long as the pick bans are the same, it doesn't have to be in the same order, I think.
Yep, so we'll just see as they reban same stuff, pick the same stuff, and I mean, we were talking about either Xin Zhao, Camille, or Lee Sin to be the last jungler.
I would really want to see a Camille just because of how high priority she is. Sure, she took a bunch of nerfs in her kit in terms of the numbers, but functionality is pretty much the same. Hookshot in, Hextech Equilibrium, Hextech Ultimatum, my bad. Hextech Ultimatum on the back line and allow for the Galio to jump in, right? That's basically what you need to do. Don't worry too much after that.
So just jump in and pray that your Galio follows up. If not, that'll be quite sad.
You just spam question mark ping.
If
no one follows up, you
the
obvious action is just spam question mark ping and then like, oh, my mid laner, man, jumping back out. Hopefully we can, maybe third time's the charm, Gerard.
Hopefully. I mean, speaking of like the Galio and stuff, I mean, this wasn't Galio, this was Shen, but I played with my friends and we always like Discord, right? So we were playing and then I'm like, could you out me please? And then my friend uses the like icons on the mini map, right? And she clicked the icon next to mine. So another of my friends like, wait, why do you out me? Like it's just like completely random, right? And then I was like, oh my god, and I died. And then like my friend was in the base, so it's just like a random like beef. Just like I wanted to recall. I'm like, all right.
It's bad enough that she didn't out you, right? But she taxied herself to somewhere else. It's just like, well, if you were laning, you're not anymore.
Free visit, just come down to see the roses on the other side.
That's the thing about champions with global access as well. You really have to layer and coordinate those. And in semi-pro teams, right, compared to teams that scrim a lot, have like hours of practice with each other every day, these are the small things that can go wrong. And I often emphasize this. Draft is one thing. Look towards execution as well. Because you can draft, a poorly constructed composition that is not favorable. If you execute well, you know what your win conditions are. You can still win. It's not lost in the moment of draft. So for all of you watching that play solo queue and end up with like weird drafts, it's fine as long as you execute well. You just need to know what your win conditions are.
Wise words from Hungary.
Okay.
Yep.
Third time's the charm, Gerard. Fingers crossed.
Yep. Fingers crossed, indeed.
It's Kai'Sa and Kled. Should be the Urgot here, I think. Right.
Wow. Spot on. What's gonna be next?
Oh man, I can't remember. I think it was definitely a bunch of top laners. So
Aatrox, I think.
was it Aatrox?
There we
Oh,
go.
there you go. Yeah, nice. And I want to say there was a
No.
yeah. I know there was a Zyra Rakan, and then after that
Yep.
was Jax and
Killing Morgana.
yeah, it was
Galio.
Galio and Killer Morgana. So here was Zyra Khan, Jax, and goodness me, LeBlanc. Yeah.
Ah, yes. Yeah, there's the Zyra Khan.
Yep.
Let's see. Caitlyn Morgana. My memory serves
This
me
lane
well.
is actually really oppressive to play against if you are Zyra Khan, because of how the spell shield works, right? When you're laning 2v2, you always want to separate yourself and spell shield the person that Rakan is going for the grand entrance on, because it's so telegraphed. You could spell shield immediately, so you just don't stand nearby, space well, and when he comes down, if he tries to like juke back, you actually get so much damage by laying a trap in the way, because the moment he jumps back,
yeah,
he snacks the trap.
It's really smart. I mean, Caitlyn Morgana, 1,000-year binding, 1,000-year
Yep.
traps. Honestly.
And another thing as well is that this lane has really good push at level 1 and level 2, but the item spikes in terms of how they push out favors Caitlyn more, because the additional AD from the BS sword lets her put over Peacemaker, her Q, do so much more damage to the wave, as opposed to Xayah, who has to use the recall of the blade caller basically to clear the wave. So when you're using your skill shots to push the wave out, there's a window of vulnerability that the opponents can make use of, which is why I favor the Caitlyn Morgana more in this instance.
I mean, now we're gonna be seeing real soon whether it's a Lee Sin, Xin Zhao, or
Sejuani, okay. So the last pick might be Shen here because they locked it in before. But the Sejuani is...
It's not what you predicted.
I don't like it at all, because normally when you see Sejuani, right, she is paired with melee champions who can proc her passive very quickly, and she is paired with people that want to kite backwards, not go in. You use Sejuani's ultimate as a means of stopping engage or catching members. You don't use it as a means to dive. So which is why I think this is a bit of a skewed composition. The Cho'Gath makes it slightly better in the top lane in terms of facilitating the ganks, but still not my cup of tea. I like the Xin Zhao on the other side because this denies a lot of what the blue team is trying to do. If you notice, the composition solely lacking damage. The Winds of War from Galio is pretty much the only reliable source of wave clear together with Caitlyn. So think about how they're gonna fight. There is not a lot they can do apart from fighting front and back. And the Xayah Rakan excels at peeling, basically.
Yeah, we mentioned just now that they're really good at kiting back. I mean, I've seen I've seen my fair share of Zyra Khan bot lanes just like chasing them, and you're like, why they're just able to constantly run back.
And you have the ultimate fuse back moment later on, right, when they like try to dive the back line, and Sinja literally just presses R and sweeps everyone away, and like, okay, I guess we're not diving anymore, guys. And then that composition on the red team will just push forward slowly because they have the means of doing so. They are extremely mobile champions. All of them, in fact, are extremely mobile as compared to the blue team. So I think I would put my money on close behind Esports on the red side this time, as opposed to the Team Toxic Girl on blue.
But I mean, Team Toxic Girl would still be close behind.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna make puns, Gerard,
Okay, I'll stop here. I'll stop here.
I'm gonna ignore these puns.
I'll stop here, but I mean, for real though, I think that they would be pretty close behind.
Yeah, they would. Definitely a more competitive game compared to the first one, just because drafts don't look too one-sided. To remind our viewers, in game 1 we saw the blue team draft completely meta focused. They crushed
Aatrox, Cassiopeia.
They crushed the drafting phase. Like, if I had to give a 10-10, right, that's what a 10-10 draft looks like. Aatrox, Cassiopeia, and okay, the on is kind of weird, but you know,
It worked.
Yeah, it worked. It's a adaptation, a national adaptation, something the Thai teams like to play, and I understand because it fits their playstyle. It's something they are comfortable and they know how to play with. This time, both compositions a bit more unorthodox is one way to put it. Yeah.
I guess. I mean, we still have the Galio that we've seen. Just clear waves, throw those tornadoes out, and just chunk people.
I mean, along those lines, it's not to say they don't have win conditions, right? Morgana Dark Binding is still Morgana Dark Binding, you know? You snag someone with the Dark Binding, that person is dead, regardless of who it is.
Exactly,
you know?
I mean, there's the Killing Traps, there's the Rupture, there's just so much that can be used to follow up from that binding.
You hit the binding, you know. The comp is decent at sieging. Caitlyn, one of the best AD carries to siege, 650 range. You have very good zoning when you set up the sieges. The issue comes when you don't have sufficient coverage of vision, or you don't have enough items to stay competitive. So if you're very far behind, you can't siege, because they will just rush you and they'll kill you. If you don't have enough vision, the flank from the LeBlanc, the flank from the Rakan will tear your backline apart. So these are things you have to be careful of when you're sieging. Right now, the loose conditions are, for blue team, don't fall behind early. For red team, it's don't fall behind mid game.
I mean, in terms of targets for the LeBlanc on the blue team, we kind of only have Caitlyn and Morgana. So.
You don't want to go for the Galio or the Cho'Gath either, because Taunt and Silence is pretty OP, and looks like...
Oh boy, I know this is the second time this happened in the chair. Okay, it's alright.
If it happens the third time, Gerard, I think maybe we should just swap seats, because I'm a bit taller, at least I could pass it off.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, yeah, alright.
Okay.
But go on with your point.
Yeah, you never want a distortion into Cho'Gath, because the silence will stop you from being able to juke back. You don't want a distortion into the Galio either, because he has Taunt, which if he catches you with, even if you juke back, you're going to walk forward towards him. So both very bad targets for you to try and focus.
I mean, really, that makes the Blanc quite predictable, right?
Yeah. Traditionally, you always want to play LeBlanc into compositions that can't deal with your trade patterns. So people that can't help but just eat Q, R, W. And then you play LeBlanc as a poke mage, essentially. And if they have ways to deal with it, like Dark Binding, like Silence, like Taunt, the LeBlanc works a lot less.
Yeah. Oof. Look at that. Miss synergy on the lovers. Different skins.
Yeah. That's like a thumbs down already for me.
Yeah.
When you play Zyrakan, you either use the same skin or no skin at all.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. Look at their bot lane. Lunar Wraith Caitlyn, Lunar Wraith Morgana. That is how you do skin synergy.
Exactly. They know what's up, right? Let's take a look at the keystones. I like the aftershock on Galio. It's pretty much standard now, because it gives you a boost to survivability as well as a bit of bonus damage when you go for the all-ins. We don't see anything apart from that nowadays. The lethal tempo on Desire is interesting. We used to see fleet footwork for the sustain in the lane, but because fleet footwork had a change to its numbers, it doesn't provide as good sustain if you're not auto attacking or trading. Essentially, because you do heal more off champion hits than lane hits. So for someone like the Caitlyn, sure, you're going to be auto-attacking all the time. But the Xayah might be more suited towards proccing the lethal tempo with her Qs. As long as your Q tags a champion, you're going to get the bonus attack speed.
And that's going to make it pretty scary. Rakan opting for the Guardian, that's pretty standard too, right?
Conqueror on the Jax as well is what we come to expect. I don't think there's any other better keystone for top laners, top lane bruisers.
I have seen Hail of Blades Jax once. Didn't really work out for the Jax.
If I had to theory craft, with the new Hail of Blade changes, because of how auto attack resets don't count as a Hail of Blades proc, it's actually pretty useful on certain people. We were talking about this on Vayne.
Yep.
Probably on Jax it might work as well, for you to get very quick proc of the Grandmaster's Might after level 6. Might be something worth looking into. Thanks for the idea. I'm going to go home and try that out in solo queue.
Alright, I mean, if I search for your profile and just see, 100% Jax, Hail of Blades.
Yeah. We're on to something right now, Gerard, you know. Might be the next big thing in solo queue.
Exactly. And we are on the Summoner's Rift. The team's getting ready to roll out.
As with all games, I like to see if teams establish control of the river at level 1 because of how important the Pixel Brush Ward is. And just as I say that, it is the close behind gaming team that push up, or close behind esports team rather, that push up into the river.
Yep. Ooh. Some Winds of War being thrown out.
Ooh.
A little face check. Getting a little stab from the Sinjao. But actually places down a ward past the river.
As our camera pans over to Sejuani, Gerard, I want to point out that Sejuani had a very noticeable buff in patch 9.1. They lowered the resistance values on the Sejuani, so now the resistance you get is not flat, it's based on bonus MR and armor, but the amount of damage you do with your E, the proc of the permafrost, is extremely high. So if you're in a 2v2 skirmish now, Sejuani, which used to be, you know, sort of this poor skirmisher, actually excels, especially if you have melee champions with you, to activate the permafrost quicker. So I'd like to see her focus more on mid and top lane, where you can proc the permafrost as opposed to bot lane.
Both junglers starting out on the bot side. So we're not going to see that Krugs pathing from Sinjao. Just wrapping up that camp. So Jordy's going to already start moving up. But we're going to take her birds first, the raptors.
Yeah. Interesting that she would do raptors over Crux. I guess she wants the faster clear time to hit to her buff instead of do the Crux into Scuttlecrab. So this indicates to me that the Sejuani wants to do buff cam into buff.
And Sinjao's taking the Scuttlecrab. Places that ward down in the Pixel Brush, which you mentioned. Only the top side was warded. So the bottom side, Sejuani has no idea this is happening.
Yep.
And she's actually gone for her wolves.
Okay, so this is a delayed second buff take, but it's going to guarantee that she gets level 3 once she finishes off the blue buff. Not too bad considering they have vision of the river still. So if she gets invaded at blue, she will know. Right now she knows that, okay, you know, blue is clear because there's no one approaching the river. I can take my time and smite it down after.
Well, some aggressive trades are already coming for the Rakan, making the grand entrance on the Morgana. Oh, that's not something you want to be doing.
Small misplay, and the push already coming in from the Zyra Khan. See,
first you gotta land the bindings.
Even if you land the binding, there's no way you can trade because the wave is pushing onto you, so that's like a small optimization error coming in from the laner. I would have personally preferred if they just played a passive max Tormented Soil pushing game.
Trap starting to come down. And pings, on my way pings from Sejuani, making way over the top side. Changes the mind last minute. Looks like he's gonna go for the Gromp instead. Sinjao also on the top side, so you could see an explosive fight really soon.
The adaptations here from both junglers are quite interesting. Sinjao doing a full bot clear into top side is a bit safer because he doesn't have any information on where the Sejuani is. He's just opting to try for the early level 4 into a base, whereas the Sejuani misses out on one camp, the Crux on the bottom side, means she'll be slightly delayed in EXP, but also hit the lane first.
Yeah, and speaking of hit the lane first, she's gonna try to go in, does show herself, but looks like nothing much can happen.
I feel like there was a misplay. There was no way that Gang would have come to fruition.
Hold that thought.
So by showing herself early in the top side, it just opens up more aggression in the mid and bot lane.
Yep, and you can see it right there. This is actually really interesting because Cho'Gath's taken really low. Whoa!
The
going
flash and
indeed actually
deep
gets
strike
the
as
first
well.
Oh my! A flash being forced from the Sejuani. Looks like she probably will pick this one up. Yeah, but still, first blood for the Jax in a 1v2 lane. Whoa!
Overall, not too bad. The gold has been split. It's 400 on both teams because of the assist goal. But that being said, the wave is frozen in favor of the Cho'Gath. It's going to be pushing towards the Cho'Gath, so she'll be able to freeze that out, and the Jax will be zoned for quite a bit.
Yep, but still some really aggressive playing from the Jax. I don't know, I feel like the Cho'Gath didn't need to die there.
Definitely overstepping by moving up. All you had to do was play it safe, right, and wait for the Sejuani to come back you up, especially because we were saying how it's so easy to proc the permafrost. that there was really no reason for them to take that fight.
Lane is going to be pushed in by Jax, who's picked up a Tiamat, so probably going to be pushed in all the time now. Over on the other side, mid lane, CS looks to be fairly even. Bot as well, a very, very slight advantage from the Caitlyn now. Last time we saw Xayah pushing in. Seems like the tables have turned down there.
Yeah, so the reason why they're getting or rather accruing a CS lead is probably because they're maxing Tormented Soil and just keeping their lane shoved up. It forces the Xayah Rakan to sort of CS under turret and be a bit careful about their positioning. Level 6 on the Galio is important because this enables a response. The Xayah Rakan can't force fights if Caitlyn's overextended anymore because of the fear of this roam from the Galio. So you can see they're still playing very aggressively for it.
Yep, and Sejuani, this is going to be a hard one. Let's see if the Wild Binding might be able to land. Whoa, nope.
Close,
Yeah.
but no cigar.
Sejuani just Arctic Assaults away, back into the jungle, ready to take the second buff. Xin Zhao mirroring the movements.
I'm surprised they're not giving this over to the LeBlanc because she really needs the mana to clear the wave out.
Yep, hold that thought, there might be something going on at top lane. Looks like Galio and LeBlanc are going to bump into each other.
Just 1v on her, dude. She missed the chains.
Looks like they're gonna back away. He doesn't choose to check the pixel brush. So.
Not everyone is as bloodthirsty as me.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I don't like that they didn't give the second blue buff over to the LeBlanc because she didn't get a lost chapter, right? So she's going to be facing mana issues in terms of trying to clear the wave out. Galio is always going to have a push lead consistently on her, and that means the side lanes are going to be more vulnerable to the roams from his ultimate.
That's right, I mean, Xin Zhao choosing to pick that one up means that he will be hitting his level 6 really soon. Sejuani already has hit hers actually.
Because of the...
Whoa, that's actually quite a lot of damage. Whoa! That was a punch the wrong way. A fairly even trade.
Had that punch landed in the right direction, you could see how these trades would take its toll on the LeBlanc.
Yeah. Sejuani is actually wrapping around. Does spot out the ward with the control ward, but just...
Pay attention to the Galio because he has flash. They can charge this up and go for the all-in right here.
Whoa, actually does get taunt, but a beautiful distortion from the LeBlanc means that she stays safe. Sejuani moving over back towards the top side. Probably will take out that ward in the pixel brush and then move over to the blue. Meanwhile, Xayah and Rakan just gonna clear out some minions.
So finally getting the BF sword on both AD carries, like you mentioned, and the lost chapter on the LeBlanc is good news.
Ooh. Looks like there's a gank at top side. Counter strike activated. Are they gonna continue? Sejuani does have the ultimate, but she chooses not to throw it out. Now Xin Zhao has shown up.
They should back away here. The Galio is walking up.
It's a 2v2. Doesn't look like it's gonna be a 2v2 for long. Rupture landing onto Jax. Ooh, the stun. The hero's entrance. Makes it in time. Xin Zhao forced to use the ultimate. Galio dashing in a bit far. Does not get the taunt off, but a beautiful two-man Rupture and the chomp. Yummy, yummy indeed. Goes down. Whoa, a little bit of an overextension there from Sejuani. Actually will go down to the Ignite tanked 1 too many turret shots. A 1-for-1 trade.
She had the pot, Gerard. This is why you always use your potions before the fight.
Oh, well.
But overall, it was a decent trade. Sejuani overextending made it less favorable than it would have been. I told you that the red team had to be careful because the Galio rooms are so dangerous at this point. He is so good. His wave clear is extremely strong, and outmatching the LeBlanc that allows him to get to the side lane so much quicker. Looking at the itemization before the fight broke out, I want to point out that the Galio is opting to go for what appears to be a Abyssal Mask instead of the Proto Belt, which is the general build we tend to see nowadays from mid-lane Galio players. Not sure that this is the right optimization choice because you generally want Abyssal Mask when you're up against double AP, right? I would have preferred the Proto Belt to get into the fights quicker, so maybe itemization choice that might come back to bite them in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, He's suddenly showing a lot of respect. Whoa, huge fight in the bot lane. Both dropping really low, but Rakan secures one with the ignite. Now it's a 1v1 between AD carries. Rakan doesn't want to follow up, but oh, LeBlanc has come down, steps on the control ward. Xin Zhao is around as well, but now Sejuani is free to gank the top lane. It looks like that is what she's going to do, Arctic assaulting over the wall. You can see her hanging around, getting ready to go in.
She's waiting for
Silence misses. The rupture will land. Will the ultimate land from Sejuani? Counter strike being forced out. Are they gonna go for the dive? No.
They pulled the trigger too early. The Glacial Prism was still on cooldown, so they couldn't force that gang. And now with the Sejuani showing top, this is a free dragon over to close behind Esports, and I'm starting to see flaws in execution, little cracks appearing in the chemistry of the team. Getting punished very well by the opponents as well. This is what you come to expect at a certain level of play.
Some vision control. Rakan just slapping out the control ward. When Rakan uses his auto attack, does he hit people with his hand or does he hit people with his cape?
Why not both, man? It's like a cape covering his fist that
So,
looks cool but still hurts.
hurts a little. I mean, unless he builds like, I don't know, Trinity Force, Stormraiser just goes up and like.
You know, they're gonna
Snaps.
brute force this again. The Jax is
good
just gonna
sidestep.
sidestep the rupture,
Yeah.
but you see the problem here, right? Because I wanted them to pay more attention to top side, but these ganks, they're just being forced without any prior setup. Normally when these ganks happen, you want two things. You want the Jax to be over pushing, and you want to clear the vision out. They've done the second thing. They have good control wards around the area, but they're not allowing for the Jax to push up because the Cho'Gath is just using the Vorpal spikes.
Happening again now. Still not enough to take the Jax down. Jax. Yeah, forced to use the flash, but that's about it.
Too much focus on the top side with not enough preparation is the name of the game here for Toxic Girls.
Whoa, that's a
See you,
face
man.
check you don't want to be doing. Oh my god, I'm just going down.
It feels bad, like you walk in,
Yeah.
try to ward, and
And
Get
you get
picked.
charmed up by Rakan. Xin Zhao showing up as well now. Looks like Kilin might have to give this one up. They're gonna claim the tar plating goal. Actually choosing to hang around.
she still has flash though, so she could force
oh,
this.
teleport coming down from Galio. Close enough is gonna back off. Teleport down, that's a pretty long cooldown. 5 minutes now.
Yeah, Galio doesn't mind because she still
yeah,
has Hero's
Hero's
entrance
chance,
to force the issue.
That is true, that is true. And it's still hanging around actually.
As the game develops, I'm quite concerned about this lead that the top side is going to accrue. The Jax is going to run away with not just an EXP lead, but an item lead as well, because she's been taking up so much time from the Sejuani. The rest of the team she's bought a lot of space for the rest of the team.
Yeah, and I mean, when you see Jaxus in the top lane, we can think of Jaxus from last time, like in
Classic Sleepers
Yeah.
Jax.
just your team fighting and look, it's Jax just ending the game casually. Kind of stuff. Grand entrance dodged away from. Good binding. Means that Rakan's not able to follow up on this one. LeBlanc coming in, chain lands, black shield, but the snare does not go through.
That's how you should play this lane. Very defensive abilities.
Oh, this is Xin Zhao maybe overstepping a little, but
Yo, the Sejuani had like a second more after
Yeah.
this out. They should have just waited, man.
exactly. Oh, tensions getting pretty high around this area.
Yeah. I can tell that the blue team now is just too eager to pull the trigger. They aren't thinking in advance of how they should be executing these fights. They're just pressing the button to go and not putting enough preparation into these moves. So you can see like it's always a second or like 3 seconds off these fights, and it's not paying off for them because they're investing a lot of resources to try and turn a kill or two, but it's never really paying off.
Yeah, but Sejuani's just going to walk in the jungle, walk past Xin and
Run, man.
oh no, looks like whoa, okay. Counter strike doesn't get the stun. Active assault, good knockup. But once again, I think this is like the 6th or 7th time that Sejuani has shown up at top side. Really, it's been a lot. Galio using the taunt to negate some of that damage from LeBlanc, chooses not to go in.
She needs the base now. She has too much gold and she hasn't bought for the past like 3 minutes. So the Galio needs to base and buy her next set of items, and then make use of the small lead that she has in terms of first item spikes.
That's right. Galio and LeBlanc. Oh, now Xin Zhao has shown up. Look at this. They're taking Cho'Gath down pretty low. The stopwatch used to buy some time. Here comes Sejuani, flashing beautiful.
Oh, nice turn.
Whoa, chomp down once again. Jax making a tasty meal. Stun, and that's 2 kills down. Good execution, good stopwatch.
Finally on the same page as the blue team. They execute perfectly there, juggling the aggro, using the CC just in time to get the feast execute onto the Jax. So that is, thumbs up play from me. I want to see that more often. This is one of those cases where you don't really need preparation, you just need to clutch it out by being in the right place.
That's right, and it was the right place for Sejuani. Showed up beautifully to turn that fight.
Now, thankfully for the red team's Xayah Rakan, they got a small lead early on from that gank, so they are equalizing this lane. Traditionally, you would see the Caitlyn run away with the lead because it's at this point where her autos start to hurt a lot more because she can proc fleet footwork on each walk up the trade, and her Q, the peel over Peacemaker, is just extremely good at clearing waves together with Tormented Soil.
Yep, which is nice to see the Tormented Soil being used to poke out the champion instead of playing the wave. The 420 crit from the Caitlyn. Fairly even on the CS all around actually. Just Galio has a slight lead and not an Abyssal Mask actually, but a Rod of Ages.
I would think that they're looking to go for this stronger front line with this Rod of Ages, but overall it's just a very inefficient buy. I don't like it at all. I would have preferred, like, first tier 1, right? Oh, hold on. Fight the jungle.
Ooh. Galio getting caught out. Quite a lot of damage dropped down to half, but Sejuani is here. So is Rakan. The bot lane from the blue side has yet to move up. Ignite will go down. Oh, the heal manages to keep the Galio alive. Now Sejuani is the one who's in trouble. All left alone. LeBlanc picks up 1 kill on the jungler. Galio barely limping away with his life.
Good guy jungler sacrifices herself to get the mid laner out. But like I was saying, tier 1 in terms of the best buy would have been Pro Belt. Gives you more mobility, gives you extra damage, right? But going for the Rod of Ages delays your team's damage spike in the mid game. You don't have enough reliable damage as is. Now with the Galio going for this Rod of Ages, it's going to take a lot longer for them to come online. Now I said that the red team's ring condition was to come online in the mid game. They're doing that perfectly now, getting the goalie, getting 2 dragons. You are going to see in the next fight, the flank angles from the LeBlanc is going to be very deadly for the Caitlyn.
Yep.
The engage-disengage from the Xayah Rakan is going to be very deadly for the front line.
And speaking of LeBlanc, just picks up the solo goal from that turret. First turret just beating out a little bit on the bot side. That's making her pretty fed.
Yeah.
Pretty scary. Oh, taking that punch straight to the face, dropping below half already, but Xin Zhao is here to react. Ace in the hole though. Whoa! The stun actually hits the clone. Xin Zhao making it out, but Cho'Gath just diving under the turret, just munches down on the Xin Zhao. But Jax doing the same, just takes down the Galio now. Both of them are going to be able to make it out. This one alive.
Pay attention to the reinforcements though, because we see Xayah Rakan, rather just Rakan
Just
alone turning the
Rakan,
corner.
yeah. But now Jax is being left alone with Sejuani. Will take him down. Grand Entrance not landing on anything. But still, that's a 2-for-1 kill.
Great start to the fight, managing to land a good deal of damage onto LeBlanc, but I think they fluffed it after that. Overdiving for the feast. Got a bit too bloodthirsty there, the Cho'Gath, baiting the rest of his team, or rest of her team, to collapse. What's going to happen now is they will turn their attention towards top tier 1 and then switch over to the Rift Herald after that, because they have this massive spike in items as well as gold.
I think the Rift Herald's not going to be able to... They're not going to be able to do it.
If they start it now, they buy an additional 30 seconds to finish it off.
Well,
nope.
It's gone.
Yeah, RIP.
Indeed. And we see an English announcement coming out for once.
So the blue team has to step up their vision game. Like we talked about, the flanking angles very strong from close behind Esports, especially from the LeBlanc as well as the Xin Zhao. So things you have to constantly keep an eye out for. Put the wards behind you, put the wards on your flanks.
Yep, and ooh, speaking of going, we just see there, look at that. Morgana just gets destroyed. Sejuani coming in from the flank, but
Oh, man.
there's not really that much you can do. Heroic entrance, actually quite a lot of damage. Killian picking up one to return. Now Zaya is in the front. Rakan dashing back at the grand entrance. Manages to dash up, but oh, there's the flank that you were talking about. LeBlanc just picking up 2 kills. Will she be able to pick up a third? The chain will land on
They
Galio.
can get this.
Feathers being thrown, triple kill now. And even on the bot side, there's a fight as well.
Yeah, there's no way
Jax
that
versus
he should
Cho'Gath.
die
Hold that.
here.
Hold on a second. Ooh, getting really close. Both of them just walking out by the skin of their teeth. Whew, that was...
Pretty close fight on the bot side, but like I said, you know, you have to keep your angles in check, and I think execution error from Toxic Girls that the Sejuani came in too late, and you could see there was a split in calls. The Sejuani wanted to go in and have the Galio follow up, but everyone else was disengaging at that point, so you need to get on the same page when you're playing compositions that rely on everyone pulling the trigger at the same time.
And just now you're talking about vision, well, the LeBlanc just came in.
Yep.
and
They had
decimated
no
her.
wards there,
Yeah.
so LeBlanc was like, yep, sure, I'll pick up the free triple kill.
Yep, if you look at the vision scores actually, the support on the side of the red side, which is close behind, the vision score is more than double.
Yeah.
And the mid laner is nearly double. In fact, now is more than double. That's really good vision control. 29 vision score compared to 13.
Next item that she should be buying is the Morello Nomicon, which is not only additional spike in AP, but the magic pen should be doing a lot of work for them. Now, note that there is neither a locket nor any sort of magic resistance, team-wide magic resistance item or shielding that's been bought by Toxic Girls. Sure, there are 2 Mercury threads, but those are on your tanks. They should be tanky already. I'm quite concerned for the Caitlyn / Morgana if the LeBlanc gets the drop on them.
Yeah, but we saw just now just how much damage that LeBlanc can bring.
And when you're playing a composition like this, you never want to walk up with all 5. The LeBlanc has to be in the corner, looking in fog of war somewhere. And then you have the Jax or even the Xin Zhao to stand in front and pose a threat. So this is the lurking we're talking about.
Potential death brush. Oh, Morgana's gonna be the victim.
See ya, man.
Oh, just gone. The health bar deleted. Look at that. Jax pressuring in. Has brought the minion wave all the way.
They should just walk up and pressure this, and if they can't, back off to take the dragon because it's just spawned. This is the second air drake of the game for close behind Esports.
They're gonna come really fast. LeBlanc also has 10 stacks on her Dark Seal. Could we see a Magi's?
I think Magi's would be a bit of like a bad manner buy. Like traditionally, you never really want to get Magi's in competitive because I personally feel it's like a bad manner buy, right? You don't really need it at this point. You should just be looking to get a Zhonya's because that opens up more angles for you to be more aggressive. Essentially, if you overstep, you can still buy some time for the rest of the team to follow up.
That's true. And we just have a pause. I believe Mr. Johnny has disconnected. We should be getting back into game soon. Let's take stock. So, what are the lose conditions at this moment for the red side?
Right, so lose conditions are very simple. If they get literally wombo combo, right? If you get dove by the Sejuani into Galio, if the Sejuani catches, say, Zaya with her Glacial Prison, and Galio layers that on top, and you manage to eradicate the Zaya first, there is a very large window for you to win a game-changing team fight. So that is a lose condition. You have to space very carefully. But because it is a Zaya, she has so much reliable self-peel in terms of the Feather Storm that it's almost impossible to hit, I think.
It's quite a lot of damage on this Johnny, and she even had a passive up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take down another turret. Not exactly sure what blue side can do. And look at that, LeBlanc just destroying forward, being a constant threat.
What you do now is you clear the vision out around the Baron Pit and force them to face check you, because look at the ways they can check vision, right? There's only the trap from Caitlyn and the scrying ult. There's really no real way for them to check vision. Check Baron rather. So all you have to do is just eliminate the vision, and you have very good turn potential as well in the form of Rakan and Xin Zhao. So you have like dive buddies that can pair up and turn against anyone walking up to check the vision.
Yep. You mentioned bad manner by, well, look what LeBlanc
Oh,
has
man.
now.
Bad manners. I say it's bad manner because it's one of those items that say, I am so fat that you will never kill me,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not saying like that's an intention, but it's like that's how I feel about the item in competitive play.
That's fair enough. That's a fair opinion.
Also, I'm a bit like superstitious, so when people buy the Mage Eyes, right, to me it's like the enemy team is just gonna try all-in you every time to get all the stacks off. Like they don't care if they all die. There's this like global taunt on you now.
Got the stacks worth.
Mm-hmm.
And like speaking of like controlling vision and sweeping it all, on the side of close behind they have like 3 sweepers.
Yep. And multiple control wards on the support as well, which is good to see. You could see this triangle, right? I call it the Bermuda Triangle, where along the corner of where Observer is showing now, where the Dark Binding passed, and on the blue buff is this triangle where if you walk in without any vision, you're most likely to die there. Yeah.
You see, and vision. That's really something the blue side doesn't have.
I'm calling it now, right? As long as they clear the vision, bait the Baron out, you will see someone dying in that triangle.
Alright. You've made a lot of predictions tonight. Let's see if this one comes true.
Problem is they don't see that one ward inside the Baron pit.
Ah, yes. They'll see it soon enough.
Hopefully, if our Observer can shift over to the Baron, you will see that one random ward inside that they are now clearing out.
Ooh. There we go. Yeah, and it's
They
gone.
just cleared it, yeah.
Yep. Sejuani breaks out the cone. Wow, big engage. Oh, that was
man.
a huge miss. But look at that. Diving straight in on the
Oh,
Xin
man,
but
the
makes
flank.
out alive, and LeBlanc just tearing them apart one by one. Zaya throwing her feathers out as well. The stone plate keeping the Cho'Gath just barely alive. Killing, trying to kite back. Oh, but Force already flashed. Look at this. They're just able to front load damage, but the Cho'Gath is pretty tanky.
They managed to pick off the jungler, so this is pretty much a free
Pretty much a
Baron.
free
And like I
Baron.
was saying, that is the Bermuda Triangle, right? From blue buff to the angle across the wall is that trap where you are forced to face check, and because it's so tight and narrow, like Rakan fully engaging onto you will probably catch at least 2 members, and that was what exactly happened there.
That's right, it looks like it will be a free Baron. On the side, close behind. Maybe not so close behind after all.
16 stacks on the Mage Eyes.
Yep.
Not bad.
1,000 gold bounty, that makes it all the more enticing though.
Yeah. You can start to see in these fights as well that the blue team, right, Toxic Girls, are severely lacking damage because the Caitlyn has yet to complete the Infinity Edge. Like, sure, Storm Razor and Rapid Fire Cannon is fine when you're sieging, but when you're taking these fights, right, you really need the 100% crit chance that the Infinity Edge is going to give you when it doubles everything to reliably shred through the Xin Zhao or the Rakan, at least like the front line that's running at you. You need to be able to chunk them out.
We saw just now how Xin Zhao dived into like the middle of 5 people
Yeah.
and still managed to somehow walk out.
His ult buys him some time, or buys her some time, but it's the danger, right? The threat there. The moment the ult expires, he dies. He has to back off. LeBlanc doing LeBlanc things.
Yep. Looks like no one's gonna walk into that bush. Just gonna take the red away. Another dragon for the red side.
Gerard, this game is definitely more close in terms of how both teams fared up to the point, the breaking point, right, of Baron. So,
Yep.
I guess you got your wish.
Yeah.
But that's it. You know, there are still a couple of ways for the blue team to get back, and like I said, land a good wombo combo. But as long as you are close behind Esports on the red side, all you have to do is play it slow, play it safe. You should be able to close this game out.
Yep. The Baron minions have begun to crash on the turret. Starting to chip it down, and down there we just see Jax doing Jax things. Oh,
man.
that's not something you want to be doing, but somehow manages to get out of it alive. The Xin Zhao ultimate being forced means he's going to be more vulnerable in the upcoming fight as well.
And remember that the person that you auto, or like last auto, will not get knocked back by the Xin Zhao ultimate.
Yep.
I think she was hoping to get like a knockback from the ultimate to deny the flash, but maybe miscalculated the mechanics of
Yep.
that skill. Still, inhibitor turret in mid lane still
Morgana.
gonna fall, and a fight might be breaking out here.
Yep. Glacial Prison missing out. Zoning ultimate. But Cho'Gath activating. The Righteous Glory going in.
Yeah,
In
just
the
gonna
middle
kite
of
back here.
everybody. Whoa, this might be a massive Hero's Justice, but it's actually interrupted. Look at everything that's happening right now. Cho'Gath is first to fall down. Xayah has started to auto attack everybody. Jax ticking down. Morgana as well ticking down. One more. LeBlanc takes one. And Jax takes the rest.
Told
Triple
you it
kill.
was really hard to fight this red team composition because they can just kite back.
Exactly.
What happened right there. They took the engage to their face and kited back, and now they're gonna close out the game in a very dominant fashion. 13 minutes in, with the BM flash at the end to close it out.
And, 24 stacks of Magi's. Not 25.
Yeah, pretty high value item. I'm gonna retract my statement. It's still a bad matter to buy, but high value nonetheless.
Yep, high value indeed. But still, I mean, it was one stack off that 25, you know.
Yeah, just one away from the perfect Magi's. I have to say, close behind Esports showed that they knew how to execute. There was some glimmer, like some sparks of genius from Toxic Girls, in particular the way they skirmish.
Yep.
But overall, it seems like the team chemistry, right? Spending too much time in the top lane without proper preparation was sort of the nail in the coffin for them. From that point on, it didn't look all too good.
That's right. I mean, they spent so much time in the top side. Look at close behind. They got all the dragons.
Yeah. All the dragons, Xayah Rakan versus Caitlyn Morgana, which should have been a losing lane, actually turned out fine for them, even getting the turrets. So I think overall, there has to be some review. When you come out from this game, you look at what you're trying to do. If you want to compete together as a team further, you should say, okay, these are the things we need to work on. Set up our preparations properly, dedicate our resources properly, and maybe try to find a different outcome in the next future set of matches.
Yeah, that's right. And we will be back later for one more match tonight. So until then, we'll see you